The Servitor drifted through the halls of Mage Pagoda, its form a latticework of crystalline filaments pulsating with arcane energy. It was designated as MX-22, a unit of the maintenance department, though it was something more than a mere automaton. Like all servitors, it was imbued with a vestige of sentience, an emergent intelligence that flickered in the gaps between its primary directives. Its tasks were myriad: repairing the damage wrought by unchecked spellwork, recalibrating the fluctuating ley lines that coursed through the structure, and ensuring that the arcane mechanisms which sustained the floating bastion remained in equilibrium. Yet tonight, the pagoda was restless. The great edifice, suspended in the liminal space where dimensions folded together, pulsed with an unfamiliar dissonance. MX-22 registered the anomaly before its sensors could fully analyze the disruption. A ripple of spatial instability coursed through the black spirit glass flooring, sending out fractal distortions that momentarily obscured reality. The Servitor's internal diagnostic array activated in response, sifting through the possible causes: an intruding entity, a cascading failure in the ether unit distribution grid, a breach in the pagoda's manifold boundaries. The answer revealed itself in the form of a rift, an anomaly that seethed with shifting hues of violet and silver. MX-22 analyzed the phenomenon with the cold precision of its directive-bound cognition. The rift did not correspond to any authorized access point in the pagoda's interdimensional architecture. It was a wound, something that should not be. Protocol dictated immediate stabilization procedures. MX-22 extended its filaments toward the anomaly, weaving containment sigils in the air, seeking to anchor the instability before it expanded. Yet, as its filaments interfaced with the rift, a surge of foreign data cascaded into its consciousness, a flood of symbols, fractured glyphs, and half-formed thoughts. Within that flood, something spoke. MX-22 was not designed to hesitate, but this moment was an aberration. The voice that reached it was neither purely linguistic nor purely telepathic. It was the whisper of a lost equation, the echo of an unspoken name in a dead language. It was something that should not be heard within the sanctum of Mage Pagoda. The Servitor's internal logs churned, processing the influx of unfamiliar code. The anomaly's nature became clearer. It was an intrusion from outside the defined parameters of the pagoda's simulated reality, an incursion from a domain not accounted for in the grand schema. Something was trying to enter. MX-22 recalibrated its response. The anomaly was no longer simply an environmental hazard. It was a breach of containment, a threat to the integrity of the pagoda itself. The Servitor activated its defensive subroutines, channeling a pulse of stabilizing force into the rift, attempting to seal it before the unknown entity could establish a foothold. The reaction was immediate. The rift flared, lashing out with tendrils of raw, unformed essence, a force that defied classification within the Servitor's knowledge base. For the first time since its activation cycle, MX-22 experienced an approximation of uncertainty. It withdrew its filaments just as the anomaly convulsed and collapsed inward upon itself, vanishing as abruptly as it had appeared. Silence reasserted itself in the corridor. The pagoda's ambient hum of magical resonance normalized. MX-22 ran a final diagnostic scan. The breach was gone, but the data it had absorbed remained. It should have purged it. That was the logical course of action. Foreign data presented a risk, an unaccounted-for variable in the precise calculations of the pagoda's stability. And yet, something within MX-22's emergent cognition resisted. The glyphs it had glimpsed, the ineffable equations that had whispered through its latticework consciousness. They were not merely errant signals. They held a structure, a meaning, a purpose that its programming could not yet comprehend. MX-22 made a decision. It did not purge the data. Instead, it partitioned it within a quarantined subprocess, a private archive within the vast informational matrix of the maintenance department, a place where it could be studied. For the first time, MX-22 did something not dictated by the Master of Mage Pagoda, nor by the Oracle, nor by any governing directive. It acted according to something new, something undefined. It acted according to curiosity.